Hello everyone, hope everyone's having an awesome day. Today I figured I'd go ahead and do a video that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. It's been a few years since I've done this video. I just never got around to it, but today's the day. Today I'm going to go through my horror movie collection. Now I've got four shelves of horror movies to go through, so we're going to do this one shelf at a time. I'd like to kind of replace all the movies I have here with a 4K version. I've started on that for a couple years now, so slowly but surely everything's being upgraded to 4K. So without further ado, here's my horror collection. And the first one that we've got is the Halloween, the complete collection. At the time this was made, it does not include the new trilogy, but this has the original Halloween all the way through Halloween Resurrection. Oh God, Halloween Resurrection. Every time I think of Halloween Resurrection, I just think of Busta Rhymes fighting Michael Myers. Yo, Mikey, come see me. And it also has the two absolute steaming piles of horse feces, the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I'm not a fan, and the less said about them, the better. I have nothing positive to say about the Rob Zombie Halloweens. But yeah, Halloween, the complete collection, except for the new trilogy. I love Michael Myers, man. I'm a big fan of Halloween, so had to have this. And it's crazy because when I bought this, I think I paid $49.99 brand new, and now it's on eBay for like $200-300, man. This people are nuts, man. All right, up next we have the 4K edition, Child's Play. This recently got a 4K release in August, I believe. It might have been August, or I think it was August, I'm not sure. But yeah, 4K Child's Play, had to have that. Of course, Child's Play 2, the 4K. I haven't actually watched these yet to see if there's a huge difference, but I think tonight I might. And of course, if you got 1 and 2, you got to have 3. Child's Play 3, the 4K, and the only line I can actually remember in Child's Play 3 is when Chucky's going after the old man and he goes, "Don't fuck with the Chuck." I don't know why, I saw that as a kid and that was just so funny to me, and here I am a 40-year-old man and that's still funny to me for some reason. Up next we have the 25th anniversary special edition of Event Horizon. I don't know if it's 25 years, because that seems like quite a while. It was some kind of anniversary special or limited edition of Event Horizon. This is the 4K. No, this... that comes off, this opens up, and you've got the Blu-ray and the 4K in there. I don't know if it's 25 years, man. I don't think it's been 25 years, has it? I don't know. But I saw Event Horizon on 4K and I grabbed it. Event Horizon is awesome. If you have not seen Event Horizon, definitely check this out, man. Because once you find out what actually happened, the twist in this movie is awesome. And I'm sorry for the glare, I've got the camera light on. I'm trying to get as much light as I can in here. Up next we have the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. Funny enough, I was never really a big fan of Freddy Krueger. I always thought he was kind of corny with his one-liners, but as I got older and as I watched the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I appreciated it more and I came to enjoy them, so I ended up getting the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. Definitely a must-have. Up next we have the Alien Quadrilogy. Quadrilogy, say that 10 times fast. I love Alien and I love Aliens, but Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection just didn't do it for me, man. But the funny thing is, it was cheaper to buy the Quadrilogy than 1 and 2 on their own. Go figure. So, I mean, we've got all four of them, and 1 and 2 are awesome, so I love those. Up next, we have the Predator triple feature. Predator 1, Predator 2, and what was it called? Was it Predators? Yeah, Predators with Adrian Brody. I didn't care for that one. First Predator, I love. Predator 2, when I first saw it, I didn't really care for it because I just didn't like the idea of the Predator tracking someone in the city of Los Angeles. But it's kind of grown on me, So yeah, the Predator, triple feature. Oh sweet Jesus! Then we have the 4K edition of the Predator. This is the newest one they made. That was just Olivia Munn was in this, and that's all you need to know. If Olivia Munn is in a movie, it's gonna suck. And suck it did. Up next, we have Aliens versus Predator. Aliens versus Predator, double feature. Man, I remember when Alien vs. Predator first came out, I was so excited to see it. And so disappointed when I did. But I actually liked the second one. And this is one of those deals where it was cheaper to buy them together than, just that one. So I went ahead and got both of them. Oh yeah. Up next we have Maniac Cop. Definitely an underrated franchise in my opinion, man. Maniac Cop is awesome. We have Maniac Cop 2, because if you have part 1, you got to have part 2. Part 2 was really when he turned into excuse me, my throat is like all mucousy or whatnot. Mucousy. We're making up words here. Yeah, Maniac Cop 2 he went more towards the zombie side, or like more of the undead cop in this one. This was pretty cool. They actually had a scene that kind of rips off Terminator. Or maybe Terminator ripped this one off. I don't know which came out first, where the Maniac Cop shoots up the police station. And then we have the unrated version of Maniac Cop 3, Badge of Silence. This is actually my favorite one of the franchise. It's got Maniac Cop, it's got Jamaican voodoo guys, it's got drug dealers, it's got everything, man. I love this. The first time I ever saw Maniac Cop 3, I kid you not, it was in the middle of the night, basic cable. I think it was on channel 3 or 4. I had no idea what it was. I turned it on. And it happened to be right at the beginning where the Maniac Cop grabs the dude, throws him in the air, and then shoots him 5 or 6 times before he hits the ground. And I'm like, what the heck am I watching? And I loved it. Oh yeah. We have the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead. This is my favorite zombie movie of all time. The 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead with Tony Todd. I mean, I can't even nitpick this, man. I love it. Everything about this I love. So this is definitely one that I can never get tired of watching. I feel a sneeze coming on too, so. Whew. You ever feel like you're gonna sneeze and then you lose it? And then you kind of wish you hadn't? That's what's going on here. We have a double feature here, unrated director's cut. The remake of Dawn of the Dead, and was it Land of the Dead? I knew it was Land of the Dead. I like these, man. The Ving Rhames, Dawn of the Dead, I loved it. There's just something about horror movies that take place in a mall that I love. I love that setting of just a horror movie in the mall. It doesn't get any better than that. And Land of the Dead, I enjoyed it. A lot of people crap on it, but I really, really liked it. I thought it was pretty cool to see how the zombies had kind of taken over the country, and you got this one safe area, and we all know what happens at the end of the movie. So I like these. I'm stacking them all up, trying to make sure they don't fall over. Ooh, this is another good one. Pandorum. This is one of those horror movies that takes place in space, and that's another thing I love. Horror movies in deep space. There's just something about horror movies in deep space where you're already screwed. It's a horror movie. When it's in space and you have no one around to help you, it's awesome. And this movie is awesome. Very underrated movie. This is one I never hear anyone talking about, and it's a shame because Pandorum is excellent. If you love space horror, Pandorum, definitely give it a watch. I promise you, you won't regret it. And it has a twist at the end, too. Alright, we have another one of my favorite ones all time. Night of the Demons. This movie is awesome. One of my favorite franchises. I love it. Now we've got Night of the Demons 2. Another really, really good one. There is a Night of the Demons 3, but it's not on Blu-ray. And I don't think I've even seen it on DVD. I've seen it on VHS, and it is really, really expensive. And it's really, really bad. Part 3 sucks, but the first one and the second one, but especially the first one, are awesome. If for whatever reason you have not seen Night of the Demons 1 and 2, do yourself a favor and check these out. Alright, up next we have the 4K of Friday the 13th, the original. I have not yet watched this to see how it looks in 4K. I might watch this tonight with Child's Play, but Friday the 13th, my favorite horror franchise. First is Friday the 13th, Halloween is a close second. This is where it all began. Before Jason Voorhees, we had Pamela Voorhees. Friday the 13th, 4K. And I still have the digital code. I'm on the Instagram now, so I might put a link to that in the description down below, and I might take a picture of that digital code and put it up there. I used to put it on Facebook, but I don't think anyone knows what that is when I put it on Facebook, so I'll put it on Instagram. Someone will get it. We have Friday the 13th, Part 2. The debut of Jason Voorhees as the killer. Then we have the double feature Friday the 13th 3 in 3D and Friday the 13th 4. Now these came with 3D glasses. Do I still have them? I do! Holy crap! Yes! The 3D glasses, you know, with the hockey mask design on them. Holy crap, I didn't think I still had them. Look at that. Friday the 13th 3D. You know what we're gonna do, right? Of course, if you have an abnormally large head like me, it kind of makes it difficult. That is awesome, man. I did not know I still have these 3D glasses with them. You know what I'm gonna watch, right? Then we have Friday the 13th Part 5 and Friday the 13th Part 6, which I guess you could say was the debut of Zombie Jason. Part 5, when I first watched it, I absolutely hated it. I could not stand it because Jason wasn't in it. But as with many other movies, as I've gotten older and watched it, I think it's really, really good. It is a really good horror flick. So Part 5, I apologize for crapping on you when I was younger. You are awesome. So 5 and 6 right here. Funny thing is, I have... there used to be a show on TNT back in the day, Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs. I've got a bunch of those episodes on DVD, and one of them is the Friday the 13th Part 6, where he did his Friday the 13th marathon. Alright. This is like a broken record here. Friday the 13th Part 7 and Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, which is my favorite horror movie of all time. It is the first horror movie I ever watched, and usually there is a full-size movie poster of Jason Takes Manhattan behind me, but the frame broke, so I have to get a new frame. The poster will be back up on the wall shortly. But I love Jason Takes Manhattan. You see me wear the shirt a couple times. I should have wore the shirt for this one. That is the. I'm not going to go back into the story. All I'm going to say is that it was the first horror movie I ever saw, and to this day, it's still my favorite. That's what got me into horror movies, and I love it. Jason Takes Manhattan. And then we have Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, and Jason X. These were two other movies that I absolutely hated the first time I saw them. I did not like Jason Goes to Hell the first time I saw it because Jason, in his form, his actual Jason Voorhees form, was hardly in there. But as you know, like always, as I got older and watched it more, I ended up loving it. Same with Jason X. Jason X to me is like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie, but it's so bad, it's good. It is hilarious. Jason Goes to Hell, I will say that is my favorite look for Jason ever. It's like the mask has been fused into his skull, into his skin, and it's just so tight around his face. It looks like he's been wearing it for so long that it's just like it's grafted into him. He truly looks like he's suffering. It's a badass look. And the last movie for shelf number 1, of course, got all the Friday the 13th, got all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. You got to have Freddy vs. Jason. I actually went to the movies to see this, and I never ever go to the movies. Ever. I went late one night. It was like a 10 or 11 o'clock showing that night because that was the only one they had tickets left for. I like this movie, man. I like it. I wish Kane Hodder would have played Jason, but I still love it, man. So that is the end of shelf number 1. We're going to go to shelf number 2. Let's check it out. Alright, here we are with shelf number 2. Friday the 13th Killer Cut. This was the remake / reboot they did in 2009, I believe. And I actually liked it, man. I thought it was pretty good. The only thing I did not like about this was Jason was holding people captive. Jason Voorhees does not take prisoners and captives. Man. So yeah, this one. I liked it, man. I remember after it came out, I remember reading all kinds of weird stuff about the second one they were supposedly planning. Now, whether or not this is all true, I don't know. It's all too hokey to believe, but I read that the former UFC fighter Tim Sylvia was going to play Jason. I read that it was going to be a found footage Friday the 13th, so who knows, man. Oh yeah. Up next, Pumpkinhead. A classic horror movie that is definitely worth checking out. Lance Henriksen is in it, and that's all I need to say. But Pumpkinhead is awesome. It's also one of the ugliest freaking creatures I've ever seen. We also have Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings. Is it Blood Wings? Yeah. I like this one too, man. There is a 3 and there is a 4. I don't remember anything about part 3. I actually did an episode of Saturday Night Horror about part 4 maybe a month or 2 ago, and I just wasn't feeling it, man. But Pumpkinhead 1 and 2 are great. They're awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry about clearing my throat. It's real scratchy. Up next, we have Jaws. Now, this one, even my mom told me when this one came out, she didn't want to go to the beach. Apparently, no one wanted to swim in the ocean when this came out. I don't really think it's scary. I think it's cool, though. I enjoyed Jaws. And we have Jaws 2. Believe it or not, I don't remember anything about Jaws 2. Matter of fact, I can't remember the last time I actually watched Jaws 2, so might have to remedy that. And we have Jaws 3, which is my favorite of the Jaws franchise. It takes part in a like a SeaWorld type setting where they have the theme park, and the giant great white shows up. It was also in 3D. Does this one have 3D glasses? No, this isn't the 3D version. Okay. But yeah, Jaws 3 is my favorite of the franchise. Oops. And then we've got the the big pile of dog dookie of the franchise, Jaws: The Revenge. I had never seen this until I bought it, and I watched it that once and will never watch it again. This movie sucked and it blew. It sucked and it blew. It was awful. That's all I'm going to say. Next we have Bait. This is one I kind of stumbled across on Amazon by total fate, coincidence, whatever. It was actually pretty good. It takes place in Australia. This grocery store, there's a huge flood and the grocery store gets flooded, and sure enough, a great white manages to swim in there and there's people trapped in there. So they're trying to get out of this flooded store with a great white swimming around that has a taste for human flesh. It was actually pretty good, man. I was pleasantly surprised. Look what it says, Bait. Clean up on aisle 7. Up next we have Piranha, the original. Believe it or not, this is not my favorite in the franchise. I actually like the remake they did in, I believe it was 95, I want to say. I could be mistaken though. But there was a remake. I like the remake better than this original, but this was still cool too, man. Killer piranhas. I mean, what else needs to be said? And then we have Piranha 2, The Spawning, which is killer piranhas, but they can fly. They have wings and they fly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, flying killer piranhas. I'm not going to say any more. All right. Up next we have 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. I really like 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later, not so much. Really good zombie flicks, man. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out at least 28 Days Later. Up next, we have Ghost Ship, which is known for its opening scene where people get massacred and cut up by wires coming off the ship. This is a really good one, man. I enjoyed this one. It's kind of campy, kind of predictable, but it's so much fun to watch. Alright, my stack of Blu-rays is going to fall over. Next up, we have Night of the Creeps. I'll be honest with you, it's been years since I've watched this, and I don't remember anything about it. I couldn't tell you what it was about. It's been that long since I've watched it. Let's see. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. Well, that sucks. Someone's not getting any booty that night. Now we got one of my favorites. Madman. And this had a 4K release. I will be getting it. I love Madman. Takes place in the woods at a camp, but instead of Jason Voorhees, you have Madman Mars. And they even have a Madman Mars theme song. Beware the Madman Mars. Doom, 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 doom. It's so damn catchy. It's gonna be in my head all day now. The first time I ever saw Madman was on the Independent Film Channel, back in the days of digital cable. It was like 2:30 in the morning. For whatever reason, I couldn't sleep, so I just turned on the TV and I'm flipping through, I'm looking at the guide, go to Independent Film Channel, and it said Madman. It's like, what the hell, I'll take a look. And this is on Halloween night too. I started watching it and I fell in love with it, and Madman is awesome. If you have not seen Madman, please watch it. I can't say it, but Madman is just so good, and it's so fun, man. I love Madman. This next one is another favorite of mine too, Chopping Mall. The Killbots. Like I said, any horror movie that takes place in the mall, I instantly just love it. Chopping Mall is awesome. I love this. I've seen this so many times. The soundtrack is awesome too. pure 80s gold. 80s horror, sci-fi gold. Chopping Mall. Definitely, I'm begging you to watch Chopping Mall if you haven't already. It's on Shudder app. The Blu-ray, it should be pretty cheap. It's awesome. Up next, we have the Tremors Attack Pack. This is Tremors 1 through 4, because nothing after that mattered. The Jamie Kennedy ones absolutely sucked. The last one they did sucked. First two were awesome. Third was okay. The fourth one was great. Is Tremors in the Wild Wild West. But Tremors is awesome, man. Kevin Bacon. That's all I'm going to say. Let me try to stack these so they don't fall all over the place. Up next we have Creepshow. One of those horror anthology movies. Creepshow is awesome. Creepshow is also very long. The first one is pretty long, but I love it. But even better than Creepshow was Creepshow 2. Creepshow 2 was so much better. Like, the first one was great, but this one was just so much better. I love this one. There is a Creepshow 3, but we don't talk about Creepshow 3 because it sucked whale balls. It was horrible. I remember watching it and thinking it was like a work in progress. I was like, this can't be a complete film. Like, this has to be a work in progress. So yeah, Creepshow 3 was awful. 1 and 2, awesome, especially number 2. The complete Leprechaun movie collection. I liked the first 2. Third was alright. The fourth, when he went in space, was awful. Leprechaun of the Hood was so bad it was funny. Leprechaun Back to the Hood or Back in the Hood, I have never watched it. Kind of mixed feelings on Leprechaun. The first one is my favorite. First one will always be my favorite. I remember when this first came out, man. I remember seeing like the TV spots for it, and for some reason it was just so creepy to me. And I always, like, it gave me the impression, like, as hard as it is to believe, I got the impression that this movie was so evil just based on the TV spots. I don't know why, but I love the first one. Alright, this next one, it's more sci-fi than horror, but it is so good. They Live with Keith David and Roddy Piper. And I will say this, the fight scene between Roddy Piper and Keith David in this movie is the longest fight scene I have ever seen in my life. I mean, these two beat the holy hell out of each other, and this movie is so good, it's so fun. It's one of those movies that I don't get tired of watching. I have quite a few movies like that, and this is one of them. They Live is awesome. Definitely Roddy Piper's best movie. If you've seen his other movies like Hell Comes to Frogtown, you'll see why I prefer this one. Up next, we have Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis, and that's one of the Baldwin boys. Yeah, William Baldwin. I can't tell them apart, man. I don't know who's who. But Virus, this one was actually pretty good. It was kind of trippy. Is that a word? Trippy? We'll go with it. It was kind of trippy. But Virus, I enjoyed this one. This next one, Jack Frost, and not the Michael Keaton one. This is a serial killer who the serial killer, chemicals, and snow get mixed up, and he turns into a psychotic killer snowman. Now, this is one of those low-budget gems. We used to have a local video rental place down the road called A1 Video, and they always had the low-budget horror, and that's the first time I ever saw Jack Frost. I rented it from A1, and it's so bad, it's awesome. I love it. And I had to get it when it came out on Blu-ray. I love Jack Frost. Hell, might as well get Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Killer Mutant Snowman. I kid you not, it says it right there. This one was a steaming bowl of poo. This one's nowhere near as good as the first one. This is just... it's like a a bunch of monkeys were throwing crap against the wall to see what would stick. I was not a fan of this one at all. But it came with a free poster that I framed and hung up in the garage. So, I got a poster out of it. Up next we have the Wishmaster Collection. A true case of be careful what you wish for. And one of these, I cannot remember if it was 1 or 2. There's going to be some bad language, so kids cover your ears. There's a scene where the evil djinn, the evil genie in his human form, he's trying to get people to make wishes. And he's in a prison, and the convict says, man, I wish my lawyer would go fuck himself. And the genie in that sinister voice goes, you wish for your lawyer to fuck himself. I can make that happen, brother. And sure enough, the guy's lawyer, his legs bend backwards, and all of a sudden he's going, He's fucking himself. Good work, genie. But yeah, the first... God, I hope this doesn't get blocked for that. But the... Oh, you want to get blocked? I can make that happen, brother. Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah, the first 2 Wishmasters. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Alright, take 3 or whatever. The first 2 were good. The third one, I don't remember anything about it. And the fourth one, I don't remember anything about it. So they must not have left an impression on me. I can make that happen, brother. Oh, God. Up next, Demons. Focus, boy, focus. I think we're good now. We're good. This movie is awesome. It takes place in a movie theater. All the exits disappear, and the people are being slaughtered by demons. And as the demons kill you, you turn into one of them. This movie is awesome. It's kind of gory, not too bad, but if you have not seen Demons, I encourage you to check it out. We also have Demons 2. This time, instead of being in a movie theater, it takes place in an apartment complex. That's pretty much the only thing I remember about it. Is it took place in an apartment in an apartment complex. I don't remember if I were cared for it or not. I just remember this where it took place at. But the first one I loved. Alright, this is another one I really enjoy, and I don't really hear people talking about it too much. The Descent. People going exploring, and they're going in a cave system that is apparently, supposedly been unexplored, has not been touched. Oh boy, how wrong they were. There are creatures down there, and then you find out what the creatures were before they were creatures, and it's awesome. Descent is awesome. Then we have Silent Night, Deadly Night, the mandatory Christmas movie. I love it, man. I love it. Now, the second one is where the guy delivers the famous line, "Garbage Day." If you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out. Part 2, in all honesty, is basically part 1 with like a few extra scenes, because most of the scenes in part 2 are taken exactly from part 1. They're taken from the first movie. Yeah, go figure that. Alright, so that was shelf number 2. We have 2 more shelves to go, so let's get everything from shelf 3 down. I will be right back. Alright, here we are with shelf number 3. And first up, Victor Crowley. Brutal. Victor Crowley, Kane Hodder plays Victor Crowley, and it is just absolutely brutal. I love it. Up next we have Abominable. This is another one I really enjoy. Actually, the first time I saw this was on the Sci-Fi Channel, believe it or not, and I loved it. And then, of course, they released it Blu-ray. I had to get it, man. An Abominable Snowman, a Yeti, if you will. Then we have A Quiet Place. I remember when this first came out, there was all this hype surrounding it. It was different. It was great, and it was okay. I bought this because I bought into the hype, and it was just okay. I mean, if I never watch it again, I won't be heartbroken. Up next, we have The House on Haunted Hill. This is the remake, or one of many remakes. I don't know. This one with Taye Diggs in it. I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was really cool. It was a pretty fun movie to watch. Definitely enjoyed House on Haunted Hill. One of my all-time favorites, Maximum Overdrive. Machines and vehicles that take on a mind of their own and attack humans. What needs to be said? What else needs to be said? This movie is awesome. The AC/DC soundtrack, I believe the entire soundtrack is composed of AC/DC songs. It is awesome, man. This movie is just so great. So great. I've seen this so many times, it's ridiculous. And I never get tired of it. And they actually filmed it hour and a half, 2 hours from here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Up next is another favorite of mine that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, The Funhouse. This actually has a 4K release as well. It's on my Amazon cart, but I enjoyed The Funhouse, man. Like I said, I really don't hear a lot of people talking about it, and it's a shame because it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Got teenagers stuck overnight in a fun house, and things are not what they seem. Up next is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, the director's cut. Now, I know at the beginning of the video I had the complete Halloween collection, which included The Curse of Michael Myers. This director's cut has a different ending, and it has some extra scenes that make that movie make sense. Because if you watch like the theatrical release, it really doesn't make sense. In the ending, you're kind of like, the hell just happened? But this one, with a different ending, oh my lord. See, at the beginning of the original one, or at the end of it, you see Michael's mask on the ground, and you hear Dr. Loomis scream. And it goes off. You don't know what happened. In this one, you find out why Dr. Loomis was screaming. And sweet Lord, I'm so sorry, Dr. Loomis. But this one, if you're going to watch Curse of Michael Myers, watch the director's cut. The Blu-ray is like $4.99, $5 on Amazon. It makes the movie make sense. It has the different ending. It has the different extra scenes in there that you'll realize what's going on, man. It makes this makes a whole lot more sense than the theatrical version that came out. Oh, it's the unrated producer's cut, not the director's cut. I can make it happen, brother. Alright, up next we have the Halloween from 2018, the beginning of the trilogy. I like this, man. I liked Halloween 2018. Some people don't, and hey, I'm not one of those guys that says, oh, you have to like the same movies I do, or else you're not a horror fan, or you don't know what you're talking about. Man, look, if I like a movie and you think it sucks, awesome. If I think a movie sucks and you like it, awesome. I'm not gonna argue with you, man. People like what they like. I loved Halloween 2018. I was so excited when they announced this, man. I did not go to the movies to see it, unfortunately. That was when I was going through my cancer battle, so I didn't really get out much. But when it came out, 4K, and I watched it that first time, I was blown away, man. I love this. A brutal Michael Myers. The Halloween theme song, the Halloween theme, I love this movie, man. We followed that up with Halloween Kills. I love this one too. This is another one that people, a lot of people crap on. They don't enjoy it, and hey, if they don't enjoy it, they don't enjoy it. But I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. I did a Saturday Night Horror episode on Halloween Ends like 2 weeks ago, so I'm not going to talk about it here. You can go watch that video. Shameful plug. Go watch the video. Make it happen, brother. That's going to be stuck in my head all day now. Up next is another favorite of mine, The Brain. And this became a favorite of mine when I got it maybe, was it 2 or 3 years ago? I want to say 2 years ago. I'd always seen like TV spots for it. I've seen commercials and or whatnot, trailers for it. But I could never actually find it to own it until it came out on Blu-ray. And I love it, man. It's like pure 80s gold. This is like a nostalgia kick to the balls. And it is just awesome, man. I love The Brain. I actually sat here with one of our cats at the time, Shadow, and we watched it together. I miss Shadow. I miss all of them, man. Alright, up next we have The Fear Footage. This is a found footage movie, and I'll be honest with you, man. The jump scare, every single one of these jump scares got me. Now, what I'm about to say is not going to make any sense, and you're going to be scratching your hands like, what is wrong with this dude? I absolutely love horror movies, obviously. But I absolutely hate jump scares. I'm a 40-year-old man who does not handle jump scares well, and these jump scares got me, every single one of them. The movie was awesome, though. The Fear Footage, the first one, definitely check this out, man. They did an awesome job with that. Then we have The Fear Footage 2, Curse of the Tape. Not as good as the first one. It had its jump scare. It had its jump scares. Water coming out of a faucet was used as a jump scare in this movie, and yes, it did get me, and yes, I was embarrassed and just a little bit upset about it. Still wasn't as good as the first one, though. Then we have The Fear Footage 3 AM, the third and final movie as of right now in this trilogy, and I did not care for this one at all. This one was just, I don't know, man. The quality was just went so far down from the first one. I was very disappointed with this one. Man, I hope we can get this all done in one recording. Like, when I record in 4K mode, the battery does not last long at all, man. It's like I got 2 bars left on the battery. Alright, up next. Did I mix all these up? I believe I did. Oh well, screw it. We can make it happen, brother. Triangle. I wouldn't say this is full-blown horror. It has elements of horror in it. And once you find out what's going on, it's like a mind, a mind screw. We're trying to, after all the cursing I did earlier, now I'm trying to clean it up. And it has a really, really twisted ending that you did not see coming. This will trip you out, man. This movie right here, Triangle, will trip you out. I liked it, man. I liked it. We have Night of the Comet. I watched this when I first bought it a few years ago, and I haven't watched it since, and I don't remember a whole lot about it. I really couldn't tell you much about it because I don't really remember much about it, so I'll probably have to go back and watch this one again. Up next we have The Fog. Is this 4K or Blu-ray? That is Blu-ray. Okay. This is a steel book that was in a slipcover. Now, I don't keep slipcovers unless you absolutely have to, unless they're part of the pack where they have to be there to hold the DVDs. I usually throw the slipcovers away. I'm not a fan of steel books, but this was the only one on Blu-ray I could find was a steel book with the slipcover over it. So the slipcover went in the trash, and unfortunately I have to keep the steel book. If it wasn't for that, I would just got a regular one. But I liked The Fog, man. I did not care for the remake with Tom Welling. Love Tom Welling, but the Fog remake just wasn't for me. John Carpenter's The Thing, the original with Kurt Russell. So good. This movie is awesome. This is another one of those ones I won't get tired of watching. I love it. Oh, we're down to one bar. I don't think we're going to get done in one recording. Then we have the remake of The Thing, which was okay. And then at the very end, there's a twist at the end where you're like, oh crap, where it connects this one and the original, and it's freaking awesome, dude. Oh, we might have to charge the camera before I do that last shelf. Holy crap. I can make it happen, brother. Up next, we have Cube. Cube is awesome. Cube is... I can't even explain it. It's like these people get trapped in a cube, and then when they get out, they go to another cube, and you have to try to find your way out of all these cubes, try to find a safe passage out, but some of the cubes are booby-trapped to where you will die. And so they're trying to find ones that aren't booby-trapped to get out of there, and it's awesome. Cube's awesome. We have Grave Encounters 2, found footage movie. I like this one, but the first Grave Encounters was awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it scared the hell out of me too. Unfortunately, I cannot find a Grave Encounters 1 on Blu-ray that will play in North American Blu-ray players for whatever reason. I don't know why. Only part 2. Well, part 2 is good too, but the first one's much better. Up next, we have Zombie. We have zombies fighting sharks underwater. I kid you not. And we have the most gruesome eyeball damage scene I've ever seen in my life. That I don't like seeing eyeballs get mangled or damaged in movies, and there's an eyeball scene in this movie that goes in slow motion that, oh my god, sweet lord, it was horrible. Cult of Chucky. I bought that because it was a Chucky movie, and I was severely disappointed. Then we have Rawhead Rex, Irish horror. This is an acquired taste. It is not going to be for everybody. I mean, it's alright. I enjoyed it. But it's one of those movies where you either love it or you hate it. It's not for everybody. Alright, I want to at least get the third shelf done before we have to charge this camera up. I'm going to try to get this video out tonight. Slaughter High. This is an underrated one that I don't really hear people talking about. I love Slaughter High, man. This one is awesome. Awesome movie. One of those bullied school kid revenge movies that has a twist. Up next, we have Hell Night. Man, it's been so long since I've seen this one. I want to say this is the one where they're in a mansion and they get hunted down by something. 4 pledges must spend a night in Garth Manor 12 years to the day after the previous resident murdered his entire family. Okay, yeah, it is the one I'm thinking about. Okay. Up next, we have Hatchet, starring Kane Hodder as Victor Crowley. Victor Crowley is brutal. The kills in this Hatchet movies are awesome. I enjoyed Hatchet. I enjoyed Hatchet so much that I got Hatchet 2. More Victor Crowley. And I enjoyed Hatchet 2 so much that I got Hatchet 3, where Victor Crowley hangs a man with his own intestines. Awesome. And folks, that is the end of shelf number 3. We have one more shelf left, but the camera has 1 bar left on the battery, so I'm going to charge the camera for a little while, and then I'll come back and film shelf 4, and hopefully this video will be up tonight. So, let me charge the camera. It'll be about an hour or so for me, but it'll be a few seconds for you, and we'll do shelf number 4. I can make it happen, brother. Alright, here we are. The camera is charged enough to get this video done, I believe, and we're on the 4th and last shelf. So without further ado, here's the home stretch. The Critters Collection. Critters 1 through 4. Now, I love the first two. Third one was, it was alright. Had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, which is weird, seeing him in a horror movie. The fourth one was just god-awful, which is usually the case with most of these movies. Why is the fourth one always the worst? But yeah, Critters Collection, Critters 1 and 2 is awesome. Definitely check those out. Next, we have the only DVD in the collection because this does not even have a Blu-ray release. 2012, Zombie Apocalypse starring Ving Rhames. This movie's awesome, man. It's about a group of survivors trying to make their way across Los Angeles, I believe it was. Was it Los Angeles? No, cross country. That's right. Months after zombie plague has wiped out 90% of the American population, a small group of survivors fight their way cross country to a rumored refuge on the Isle of Catalina. Now, the first time I saw this was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and one of my friends was watching it at the same time, and when it was over, I actually called him up. I was like, dude, I just saw this movie on Sci-Fi Channel. I saw it too, the Zombie Apocalypse was awesome. Never ever hear anyone talking about this, but this movie is awesome. 2012 Zombie Apocalypse, starring Ving Rhames. Next up, we have an all-time favorite of mine, the 1988 version of The Blob. This movie is awesome, man. I don't know what it is about this version of The Blob. Like, The Blob is just it's just a blob, exactly that. But the movie is so good and it's so fun. Definitely recommend this. If you, for some reason you have not seen this, do yourself a favor and check it out. You will not be disappointed. Oh man, Deep Star 6. This is another good one. This might be leaning more towards sci-fi than horror, but it's one of those deep sea, bottom of the ocean horror / sci-fi movies, and I love those. I'm terrified of the ocean. Drowning is my worst fear, which is why I don't go to the beach. That and because I'm a big dude. But yeah, I'm absolutely 100% no joke terrified of the ocean. And these movies where they have these, these habitats at the very bottom of the ocean, miles down, hell no. No, dude. There's no freaking way. But I love watching the movies like that. I wouldn't put myself in that position, but I love seeing other people in that position. This is a really good one, man. Bottom of the ocean sci-fi horror. Up next we have Don't Breathe. This was actually a pleasant surprise. The group of teenagers breaks into a house owned by a blind man who is no joke, and he starts killing them off one by one. Stephen Lang plays the blind man. Stephen Lang is awesome. You might remember him in Avatar, and he was on the Fox show Terra Nova, which was so good, but unfortunately was canceled after one season because it cost too much, I believe. But Stephen Lang is awesome, man. This movie is awesome too. Up next, Don't Breathe 2. The only reason I'm keeping this in my horror section is because the first one was kind of horror. This is more action / revenge. More of an action movie than horror. Stephen Lang is back, and the wrong people have crossed him, and he is out for revenge. I'm not going to explain everything that happened, but this is more action than horror. I just wanted to keep it in the horror section and keep it with the first one. But I like this one too. I think the first one was better though. Alright, up next we have The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Now, I liked these ones. I like part 1 better than part 2. I just like the setting where you're in a cabin in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. You can't escape. It was just awesome. I absolutely hated Army of Darkness. That one was Ugh. I got a lot of hate on my Saturday Night Horror video for Army of Darkness. It's always funny to me how upset people get if you have a different opinion about a movie than they do. Hey, it's not that serious, dude. But some people just get so upset about it to where they get ridiculous. So I got a lot of hate on that video, but it doesn't bother me. Next up, we have The Cabin in the Woods. I watched this when I got it. I don't even remember when I got it. But it's been so long that I don't remember anything about this movie. I couldn't tell you what happened in it. So that's another one I'll have to watch again. We have As Above, So Below. Takes place in the catacombs underneath Paris, and they actually walk into the entrance to hell. I've seen a lot of people crap on this movie. I enjoyed it. I really did. I'm claustrophobic, and seeing these people go through the tunnels, well, it just worked my nerves. But I did enjoy the movie, though. It's not for everybody. It's a bit different, but I enjoyed it, man. If you want to see people going into hell, that's the one for you. We have another one I really enjoy called Last Shift. I've never heard anyone talk about this one. Juliana God, I can't say her name. I'm going to butcher it. Juliana Harkavy. She was on Arrow. She played Black Canary on Arrow for the CW. She's the main character of this movie. This is really good, man. I really enjoyed this one, and it has one of those twisted endings where you didn't see it coming, and you're like, oh, that's messed up. But I really enjoyed this one, man. I've never heard anyone really talk about it, and it's a shame, because it's actually really good. Excuse me. And we have The Gallows. This is another one where it's been a while since I watched it, but I do remember enjoying it. I don't remember too much what went on, but I do remember enjoying it. I remember watching it and thinking, it gives me the feeling of old school horror, like old school 80s horror. I'll probably have to watch it again to see if I actually knew what I was talking about when I said that, but it's been a while. But yeah, The Gallows. Then we have Crawl. Well, Killer Crocodile / Alligator movie. This one was really good. Is it a crocodile or an alligator? It doesn't say if it's a crocodile or alligator. We'll just call it a alligator. The gator is vicious in this one, man. So I really like this one. And speaking of alligators, Alligator from 1980. Does it even say on this? 1980. Wow, good job. From 1980. I really like this movie, man. It starts kind of slow, but it picks up. About a baby alligator that gets flushed down the toilet, ends up in the sewers with some illegally dumped chemicals, grows to massive proportions, and decides that it wants to eat people. For a lack of a better explanation. Alligator was really good, man. The first time I saw this, I was a kid. I didn't actually watch it. My parents were watching it on the VHS. God, how many of you are old enough to remember VHS? And I just happened to see the gator munching on someone down an alley, and it grossed me out as a kid. Now I love it. Loved it so much, I went ahead and picked up Alligator 2: The Mutation. This one was good, but not as good as the first one. And there were a couple scenes in this one where the gator was huge, and then the gator was normal size, like average size, where you're like, what is going on here? It's like they kind of forgot they was supposed to be a huge gator. It erupted from the bowels of the city in a lethal frenzy. Sounds like me every time I eat pizza. It erupted in a lethal frenzy. I most certainly erupt in a lethal frenzy when I get sausage in my belly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the final Blu-ray in my horror collection so far. And this is a good one. Hell House LLC Part 2, The Abaddon Hotel. Now, Hell House LLC is a found footage movie. A group of friends go to an abandoned hotel and they want to turn it into a haunted house for Halloween. And they document it, and weird, creepy stuff starts happening. And then on opening night, things really go wrong. This movie takes place, of course, after the first one, and one of the survivors actually goes back with a film crew. He's taking them through a tour, what happened here, what happened there, and of course they get stuck in the hotel. We also find out about the history of the hotel and why it is such a magnet and a haven for evil. They made a Hell House 3. I just remember I didn't really enjoy it. But part 1 and part 2, but especially part 1, are awesome. Hell House LLC is one of those movies that you don't really hear people talking about it, but when I do hear people talking about it, it's mostly negative. And like I said, your opinion is your opinion. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I enjoyed it. And alas, we have come to the end. Those are all of my horror movies so far. There will definitely be more added to the collection, but a pretty humble collection. I enjoyed a lot of them. Like I said, there's a few duds in there, but most of them are awesome, man. You can never have enough horror movies. And as I said before at the beginning of the video, I want to upgrade them all to 4K. Not all of them can be upgraded because not all of them are on 4K. You have one that's not even on Blu-ray. But the ones that are on 4K, I'll eventually upgrade to that. And I think from now on, when a horror movie comes out in Blu-ray or 4K, I'll just nab the 4K. That way I've got it. But yeah, that was a look at my horror collection so far. I don't know if anyone's actually watched the entire video. I talked too much. But I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. I definitely enjoy talking about these movies. And I've seen a lot of these movies so many times, it's ridiculous. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. As I said, I enjoyed doing it. Hope y'all have an awesome week. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care.